Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.
Oh my God, it's people helping people!
Tonight's episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by Mike Silkowski. He's your local partner in getting your message in front of the right people. Mike specializes in helping businesses right here in Southern Arizona reach their ideal customers through TV and streaming services. He's not just sponsoring this chapter 3 of People Helping People, he's building partnerships, and he doesn't succeed unless you do. If you're ready to grow your business with someone who's invested in your success, call Mike at 515-305-5311. Again, that's 515-305-5311. This episode of People Helping People Live is sponsored by T-Town Boxing, Tucson's home for boxing, kickboxing, and recovery classes for all ages. From kids to adults, beginners to experienced fighters, T-Town Boxing offers a space to grow, train, and challenge yourself. So if you're ready to push your limits and join an amazing community, reach out to T-Town Boxing on Instagram at instagram.com/T-Town-Boxing or their website, boxingtucson.com. Again, that's instagram.com/T-Town-Boxing or their website, boxingtucson.com. This episode is sponsored by the Diabetes Network of Arizona, a community built by people living with type 1 diabetes for people living with type 1 diabetes. They host Arizona's only family camp for type 1 diabetics, giving kids and family a place to connect, learn, and feel understood. Every dollar raised stays right here in Arizona, helping local families get the care and supplies that they need. No one should ever face diabetes alone, and with your help, they don't have to. You can make a difference today by clicking the donation link in the description. The Diabetes Network of Arizona, building a stronger, healthier Arizona together. Let's get back into the episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another amazing episode of People Helping People. Yeah, feels good. I hope you guys enjoyed those little pre-recorded advertisements so we don't have to stray away from the show, right? We got to show the sponsors that we love and represent some love. Give them a little segment in the beginning, and I'm going to tighten those up a little bit. I do like them, but I think that they could use a little bit of, a little bit of something, some music behind them, but we'll get that all squared away. I hope everybody's having an incredible day. Welcome to People Helping People. And if it is your first time joining us, this is a live show, meaning you can get involved in the conversation. You can leave comments and questions. And if you've got feedback for us, just let us know. Go ahead, type it in, and we'll talk about it during the show. So I want to welcome anybody that's brand new and welcome everybody back if you're joining us again. And this is the show where we bring on the difference makers in the world and the community and people that are making a difference in their surrounding area or even more broad than that. And we get to we get to find out their purpose, the reasons why. And I just am so excited for tonight's episode, you guys. We have an incredible guest, and he has found a need in the world. And like most business owners, he has developed something to fill that need in the world. And I think that that is just the foundation of building a successful business. And he's so passionate about what he does. And so I'm really excited to dive into this conversation with him today and excited to bring you guys our friend, Stu Selbst. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Alexander. I appreciate it. And I'm so happy you got my last name right. We've
Yeah.
been trying to buy a vowel for 700 years, so I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Luckily, we had a little pre-show conversation, so I could just cinch it down. I'm so happy you're here, man, and I'm so happy that you reached out to me because what you have going on, your business, what you run, is something that I think it's so needed in the community that you serve, but also felt like such a light bulb moment when you told me about it. Like, wow, how come this hasn't been a thing, or how come I didn't think of this? Like, it's just really good. So, Stu, for the people that don't know, go ahead and introduce yourself.
All right. Well, thank you, Alexander. I'm going to call you AJ because I just think it's easier, right?
It's good.
You don't look to me like an Alexander. You are an AJ. So, so everyone, I am Stuart Selbst. Everyone calls me Stu. My company is called Stu Tech. Pretty original name, right? And we're IT. It's IT services, but it's IT services for senior citizens and micro businesses. And we'll get into why I started, but it started as just something to do, and then it's turned into a business, and the business has turned into a passion project.
Mm.
So it's something I'm really passionate about, and I love it, and it brings me great joy. And I get to wake up every day and help people in my neighborhood, help people in my community, help people around the state with things that they don't know. It's more than just computer help. It's actually kind of changing people's lives.
Mm.
And it just brings me joy. And it puts a couple of shekels in my pocket,
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. It's firing on all cylinders, as they
Right.
say. And that's really incredible. And I want to jump back into the inception of this, having the idea and how it came about. If you could walk me through that.
All right. So it's a bit of a story, and we got some time, right?
Oh yeah, let's do
All
it.
right. So last year, late last summer, so 2024, I quit my job. I was working for an IT company. I was their director of sales. I was really miserable, absolutely miserable. So I quit my job. We had some family issues going on, and we had to take care of that. So when it was time for me to go back to work in like November, after all the family stuff was dealt with, I was looking for jobs. I was scrolling LinkedIn and applying for jobs and working my network and da 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 da, all that crap, if I could say crap. Um,
You're good.
and nothing was biting. I would get a couple interviews. Oh, Stu, you're overqualified, or you're too expensive, or this and this and this and this. Now I'm no spring chicken, just so you know. I'll just let your listeners know I'm 57 years old. Um, so my wife, who's my muse, my most amazing she's the most amazing person on the planet. She had this brilliant idea, which I kind of like, we live in a 55 plus community in Mesa. Okay. She had the brilliant idea, said, hey, honey, why don't you put a post on our community Facebook page saying, hey, you're in between work. If anybody needs some tech support, whether it's on their computer, PC, Mac, home internet, home theater, you've got almost 40 years experience. You can come and help them. I'm like, no. um, but I was thinking about it, right? My wife is, like I said, she's brilliant, and she gets me thinking about stuff. And so a couple hours later, I said, honey, you're right. I'm sitting here, I'm bored, I'm going out of my mind. Let's put something out there. So I started coming up with a Facebook post, right? Just for the Facebook page. And it was like, hey guys, community, I've lived here 3 years and da 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 da. And I do tech work and I'm in between jobs and I'm thinking about launching this business. But if anybody needs some help, here's my number. And it was just my cell number, right? Within 8 minutes, I think it was, I had a phone call.
Wow, just like that.
On the corner, needed some help with a sound bar. So I hop in my golf cart and I putt on over there. It takes me like 2 minutes to fix it. They're like, "What do I owe you?" I'm like, nothing. It's no big deal." But you know, spread the word. Then I got another call, another call, another call, another call, and it was computers and dealing with Cox and just all this stuff I've dealt with in my entire career. And within the first month, the first 30 days, I billed almost $5,000.
Wow.
And it was just light bulb moment. So I'm going in and out of my bank, right? And it's still just a hobby for me. I'm still looking for a full-time job. I'm going in and out of my bank. It's right before Christmas. And my banker pulls me aside, who I've been banking with for 20 something years. And she's like, Stu, I know you're out of work. I'm like, yeah. You keep putting money in because we get these daily reports of deposits. I'm like, yeah, okay. You're out of work. And I said, yeah.
Yeah, what are you up to
What's
there,
going on?
Stu?
So I explained the whole situation to her, and she pulls up the report of my accounts. She's like, you put in almost $5,000. Someone's gonna catch on because it's a lot of cash and checks, and you need to create a company." I'm like, "I don't want to do that." She's like, and she goes, "You're on to something." When I explained everything with the seniors, she's like, I'm like, "All right." So it's like 3 days before Christmas. December 22nd is our anniversary date. And so I go online, and I think it's a Sunday or a Saturday. I go to LegalZoom. I create my LLC, get my EIN number, go back to the bank on Monday. I'm a corporation now, right? And got a website, and this thing just started to blow up. Um, and so there we are, right? We're there with StuTech LLC, right? Um, and so I registered the domain name stutechaz.com and, create the website, email, and Office 365 and all this stuff. And I'm just kind of going through the motion. And that's growing. It's growing exponentially. I'm busy all the time. I did not want to be busy. I've been a business owner a number of times. I did not want to be this busy. But I'm like, okay, this is something. Well, then the snowbirds leave.
Mm.
Okay, so I'm in Mesa, snowbirds leave, business slows down. I'm like scratching my head, going, "All right, now let's do." So I go to this conference in Denver in August of this year, right? It's end of summer. I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. I go to this conference, and I'm talking to other IT companies, and I'm telling them what I do with seniors. And they're like, "How do you make any money?" And I explain my business model and whatnot and how it's supporting and because I've been doing this for a long time, I've got it really dialed in. And they're like, "I don't get it." I don't get it. I'm like, all right. So I start talking to them about who they support. And they're talking about the businesses of 25 employees and bigger, 15 employees and bigger, 50 employees and bigger. And I start scratching my head going, what about the solo entrepreneur? What about the home-based business? What about the realtor? Nobody wants them. I'm like, let me think about this. So um, I'm a power walker. I do 4 to 6 miles a day and things like that. So I'm in Denver. And did you know that Denver has elevation? I don't know if you've ever power
Wow.
walked in Denver,
Does
but
it
you
ever?
gotta you gotta learn how to breathe.
Yeah.
So I'm chugging along. I'm doing like a 4 mile walk in Denver, one morning, and I'm just thinking. I'm thinking. I'm like, oh my god, it hits me. I need to rebrand StuTech to work with micro businesses as well.
Mm.
So when I was just working with seniors, my tagline was "Call us, not your kids," right? Because if you're listening out there and you're 40 something and your parents are in their 70s and they call you about their computer issue, trust me, I know you're going to eye roll because I do the same thing to my 80-plus-year-old parents when they say, "Oh, I'm having problems with my iPhone," right? We all do it to our parents.
It's tough. Yeah, I've
So
been there.
so yeah, no, we all have. I go see my parents and they live a mile away as the crow flies, and my dad's like, "Oh, Stu, I need you to fix my camera, or I need you to fix my whatever." And anyway, So I come back from this conference, and instead of call us not your kids, I rebrand StuTech to work with micro business as well as seniors. And I came up with the tagline of secured, supported, and simple,
Mm, I
because
like.
that's what I focus on. And it doesn't matter if you're a small micro business, one person or five people or seven people, or a senior citizen. I want to make sure your stuff is secured, you get support, and it's simple. It's not expensive. You know what it's going to cost. You know everything up front. And that is what StuTech is all about. So that's the inception until today. And we are growing exponentially. And let's see, we're 10 months in. I've serviced 147 seniors
Wow.
and growing.
Wow.
And every single day, I'm so proud about what I do. And the thank yous and the hugs are the best thing, right?
Yeah.
I go in and help a little old lady, and they give me a hug. And we did this seminar today, and some of my customers came in and said, "Oh, Stu," they're all coming back from being out of Arizona. They're all snowbirds, and they're all coming back, and they're like, "Oh my God, we got to have you to the house and hugs, and it's great to see you." And da 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 da. That's the reward,
Mm,
right? Sure, I make a living. Sure, I have a profitable business. Sure, I have all that business stuff. But the reward is the love that is shared. The reward is that I know every single day when I wake up, I'm helping someone. I'm
yeah.
helping someone keep their money in their bank. I'm helping someone not get a virus. I'm helping someone be able to communicate and Zoom with their grandkids to do a reading lesson. Whatever it happens to be, I'm helping them stay connected, and I love
I love that. Let me give you one of these, Stu. Hey. Man, there's so much to break down there. I love your trajectory of just, you and your wife coming up with this idea or her
No,
coming up
no,
with
no, no,
this
no,
idea.
no. It's 100% her.
Oh, I
I
love it.
take zero credit.
Yeah. Yeah.
It
And
was
now
her
you're
idea. I executed on it. It's
I love it.
100% her.
I love it. Well, shout out to the wife we see out there. Thanks for the Stu Tech idea before it was born. And you executed. So you threw that out on Facebook, which is really interesting because I think a lot of people think that they need all of this infrastructure to start a business. They
Yeah,
need the LLC, they need the websites, they need all these things, when in reality, we have the ability right now to chum the waters before you've even started. You don't need the boat, you don't need anything. You can throw it from the sidelines. And posting your business, or if you're a baker or you want to offer a service or clean a portion of somebody's property, whatever it is, put it on Facebook. See if you're getting any hits at all, whether it be your phone number or messages, and see if that blossoms into something.
right. Test the
If you
water. Test the
Yeah,
water.
test
Um,
the water. Absolutely. And when we talked too, you were telling me about price points and how you really just wanted to make this something affordable for people. And I think that stems from your passion for what you do. And like you said, the reward is more so in those interactions, those thank yous, because you're really changing people's lives with going in and helping them with their tech because they've got nobody to call on. And if they do call on a big company, it's so expensive to be able to get help from somebody. So if you
yeah.
could kind of break down the business model for me and run me through that.
Okay. It's really simple. So one of the things I know, because I've been doing this almost 40 years, is I bet on myself, right? If I'm doing my job properly, I'm going to be profitable and the client's going to be happy. And what I've done over the last almost year is I've felt things out. So when I first started, so I do what we call managed services, right? What I still call it is flat rate IT services, right? I'm doing a lot of automation in the background, da da da. That's all the techie stuff. Nobody really cares about that, okay? But I'm available. That's the key thing. I am available when my clients call or text or something like that. I'm trying to go away from texting because it's a huge distraction. But so over the last year, I've messed around with different pricing models on how to do this and unlimited support and whatnot. But what I have seen um, what I've seen being successful is not overselling somebody on something. And what I've seen, as long as I'm maintaining people's computers, they don't call. They don't have problems. We do weekly maintenance. We've got good antivirus and things like that. So what I've done is broken things down, right? I've made it super simple. And this came out of a presentation I did at a 55 plus community. Somebody wanted to engage with my services, but they're senior, they're retired, they're on limited income. And that's what I had to think about, right? So I I have blocks of hours, which some people buy, especially if they have a big project coming up, like a move or something like that. But I also have these managed services. So I was talking to this lady who's a CPA who's retiring, and she's like, "Stu, it's really not in my budget to spend $500 on a block of hours." I'm like, "Okay, I totally understand. I get it. It happens." My hourly rate is $125 an hour, which is a lot less than most IT companies out there. But we started off at 99, and it felt like we were a little cheap, and we didn't want to go 150. Back in the day when I was, doing bigger businesses in my first IT company, we were 250 an hour, $300 an hour, but we're not going to do that. So again, coming back from this conference, I went to bet on myself. I came up with three managed plans: a $25 a month plan, a $42 a month plan, and a $59 a month plan.
Wow.
Take your pick. This is your choice, right? Or you can buy a block of hours and stuff like that. I don't do one-offs hourly billing or something or anything like that. So the 25 and the 42 are very easy. They're very basic. Okay, you get maintenance on your computer. Okay, you get next generation antivirus that uses AI and machine learning. It's called an MDR. Okay, managed detect and response. It's what the big businesses use. And you get 2 hours of annual support, right? Annual support, 2 hours. The $42 a month one, same thing, but 5 hours support. So if you feel that you need more, you just pay a little bit more. So what I'm doing in that is I'm betting that my automation and the work that I do and the tools that I install are going to do enough work that you're never going to call me.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if you break it down, $125 an hour times two is 250, right? I'm betting that you will not call and that at the end of the year, I make a couple $100 on. So I'm not making billions of dollars. I'm not making millions. I'm not even making thousands of dollars. Okay. I'm breaking it down to make it simple. And it goes back to my tagline: secured, supported, and simple. Okay.
Mhm.
Because what I've seen over the last year is the computers that I was maintaining, the people don't call me unless they have a silly question. And then if they have a question, and not a silly question, just, hey, Stu, my printer's not working. Hey, I just remote it and fix it, right? And then I build that 2 hours a time or 5 hours a time in 15-minute increments. Okay. And then at the end of the year, we settle up, right? Hey, you've used 7 hours out of your five. I'm going to bill you a discounted rate for the other two, and it's in their agreement. Or if you're on the 2 hour plan, okay, you've used 3 hours. I'm going to send you a bill. Or I just say, you know what, Merry Christmas, that type of thing.
Nice.
So I made it really simple. Now, if you're a problem child, okay, and always having problems, even with maintenance and stuff like that, for $59 a month, you can get unlimited remote support. Unlimited. Call anytime. Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, anytime. Send me an email. If you're on the East Coast or whatever, I can remote in when I wake up in the morning, whatever it happens to be. I will call you. Make it super simple. But if you want that level of service, $59 a month, you get maintenance, you get antivirus, you get unlimited support. Okay,
Wow.
and that also includes for special projects too. If you're here, I mean, I'm not going to go to Michigan and give somebody unlimited support. But I do charge for travel and stuff like that. And the other thing is, I do the one other thing I do charge for is travel if they're outside the East Valley. Like I had somebody from Tucson call me and said they needed help. They'd been compromised, and I said, all right, here's what's going to happen. Here's my rate. Here's what it's going to cost you. But I do charge travel. Okay. Now I'm in the East Valley. I'm in Mesa, so Mesa, Gilbert, Chandler, Tempe, and whatnot. This I go to. Um, But I had somebody call me, and they're in Sun City, and I'm like, okay, you're an hour from me. I, I charge travel. Their gas is $3.50 a gallon, and it's time and whatnot. And they decided not to work with me. I'm like, and that's fine. That is totally fine. But
Yeah.
the cool thing is, if for this project I charge them travel, but if they went on my maintenance plan, I can do everything remotely. And I don't charge my managed clients, people that are paying me monthly, I never charge them travel. So if I had people in Tucson that was on my managed plan and I couldn't fix it remotely, hey, I'm making the trek to Tucson on my dime.
Wow. So is it just you?
It's just me. At this point, it's going to grow. I'm in super growth mode because, again, I go back to the beginning. When the snowbirds left, I slowed down to a crawl. Okay. I didn't know what to do. I was stressing out. Um, and now I'm at a point where, for businesses, we can talk about the businesses, but for the seniors and individuals, I can pretty much do everything remote. I will get to a point where I'm going to be able to forecast, right? So I'm kind of forecasting that my tools are going to take care of most of it and things like that. And if I'm getting busy doing on site, then I will hire somebody, whether it's part time or full time or whatever. So for that, my tools take care of everything, and I pull reports. And I have like my first clients renewing right now. Okay, and so one person said to me, "Well, Stu, we don't really need you anymore." I'm like, "Okay, that's great. Let's sit down and talk about your what we've done for you over the last year." And I pulled the report for up to today, and we cleaned almost 300,000 bad files off their computer over the last
Oh,
10 and a half months. So I'm
gee.
going to show them this report and say, okay, if you don't need me, you're going to call me in a month. Okay. And you're going to need a PC tune up. You're going to want me to come in and do all this stuff. But for $25 a month, you not only get this, you get the antivirus now, because you don't have to buy that junk that Best Buy sells, because I'm going to put you in a good product. And then if you need me to come on site, or even or whatever, remote in, you have 2 hours a year. Because on their old agreement, first of all, they were paying more. Second of all, they were getting billed for if I had to do support. So now it's just included, because I wanted to make it secured, supported, and simple. So
Mm,
that's what I've done, and that's my model for my seniors.
I
It gets a little bit more intricate and more detailed for the micro businesses, but they also get a lot more, and it's a little bit more expensive. But
yeah.
because I have a 24/7, 365 US based help desk that I put them into, which is really awesome.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, and
Yeah.
with your background in tech, I mean, this is such an alley-oop for you, but I also, being a fellow salesman, I hear the way that you are, it just makes sense, right? Because you're packaging everything that they're getting and showing them like, "Hey, this is the actual value that I am providing. This makes sense to continue to do this, doesn't it?" I mean, it seems like a no-brainer for anybody once you break down the amount of files and time and effort and everything else that went into maintaining them for that year. I think that's really incredible. So my hat's off to you for your business model. It's
Thank you.
really great.
And I break it down to things that people understand. Like, I was doing that seminar today, and we'll talk more about the seminar in just a second. But
Sure.
somebody asked, like, why do we need this? I'm like, do you change your oil in your car? They're like, yeah. Do you get rotate your tires? Well, yeah. You change your oil, change your transmission, do all this stuff. You maintain your car, right? Oh yeah. And you get an oil change every 3 months, right? Okay. Same thing with your computer, right? Because people don't seem to understand when they go to a website. Now, people are probably watching this on YouTube, right? So it's being broadcast on YouTube or Facebook. Well, but when you open up that browser, it downloads a little file. It's called a cookie, and those files stay there. They get written to the hard drive. They're temporary files. You have to clear them off. You have to maintain that. And even if you're not going and doing anything, to clear those files every single day, every single week, it's pain the you know what. So we automate it. We clean it up. We clean the registry, and people don't seem to understand what the registry is. It's the back end of everything, and we clean all that up, and we make sure it's running smoothly. And again, I don't hear from people when we maintain their machines, and that's the goal.
Yeah.
Out of sight, out of mind. And I run into them on the golf course or at the little restaurant in our community, or putting around the, at trivia or bingo or whatever it happens to be.
Yeah.
That's, hey Stu, what's going on? I'll walk into the restaurant. Hey Stu, what's going on? Hey, I forgot who you are because I haven't seen you in a year, right? So it's simple.
Yeah.
And if they don't see me, that's a good thing. They don't want to see me, right? Because if they're seeing me, that means they've bought a new computer, they've got a major issue. They want to just be able to pick up the phone and call me when they have a problem with their printer, when Cox is having an outage, or CenturyLink's having an outage, or whatever, or just have a question. That's when they want to talk to me. They
Mm.
don't actually want to see me for work. They
Yeah.
want to see me for socializing, playing golf, or whatever it happens to be. So that is the goal. And that's what I tell people. I say, you really don't want to see me. It's like, you don't want to go see the oncologist. You don't want to see the cardiologist. You want to be able to, go get a blood test and have them tell you what you need to do, and whatever. So, and maybe that's a little bit more. Yeah, you probably do want to see the oncologist and the cardiologist, but you know what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to go
Absolutely.
see my PCP twice a year because
Yeah.
say, Stu, you got to lose weight.
Yeah. No, I
So
get it. I get it. And that's the thing is like for the business model that you have, you can, being that your goal is to not be seen again, you're going to put your best effort forward and all the knowledge that you have and make sure that they're taken care of on all these different aspects, and it's really incredible. But I want to know about the subscription model. Because I feel like I've had a lot of ideas in my life to start businesses that are subscription based to make things easier for people. Because I think sometimes those hourly prices can be a bit of a sticker shock, or the total price of something that somebody is trying to build could be a bit of
right.
a sticker shock. How do you manage those subscriptions? Is there a software for that, or how do
I
you?
do everything through QuickBooks.
Okay.
Okay, so QuickBooks, we do recurring payments or recurring invoices. Um, my businesses, I do recurring invoices because those are typically changing because they're adding employees and things like that. But if it's a senior, residential, one computer, two computers, whatever, I just set them up with recurring billing. They I use the Intuit payment processing, and so I set them up. Say it's $25 a month. They get something. They get an email. They log in. They put their credit card or bank information, and it just bills it. I don't see it. It's all secure. It's all PCI compliant, which was really, really important to me. I didn't want to go shop around for merchant vendors, but we just do the billing. And I do have an agreement, and they have to sign it, because I've had some issues with people doing things on a handshake and canceling their credit card and just being asses. If I can
Yeah.
say that, can I say asses?
Oh, you're good. Yeah. This is
Oh,
YouTube, free range.
all right. Well, I'm not going to drop any f bombs. I promise.
All right.
Not that I know of yet. But just some people can be asses and not want to pay the bill. I'm like, all right, fine. And so I had to create an agreement where, hey, you're going to pay this much. This is what we're going to do. If you go over this, this is what it's going to cost you. Sign it. I need to be able to shove it back in their face. Um, since I put everything in writing, I haven't had to do that yet. It's pretty
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
But I have had to fire some clients. Okay, and I can give you a perfect example. I was helping this one person move their technology from their office to their home, and he didn't give me all the information up front. For example, he has a software package that he needs to use, and he didn't tell me that he didn't renew the support on it, so I could not install it.
Oh,
So and all these other little things like his email and things like that. He wasn't using business class email and stuff like that, and he didn't tell me these things. So I just had to kind of walk away. It was supposed to be a 10-hour project. The first half of it took 8 hours. I had only billed him for 5. And after thinking about it, it's just I'm like, I kind of have to walk away from this because it's going to cost him 20 hours if I go through this, and I just don't feel right about that.
yeah.
And he was not happy, and he said a few choice words to me, and I'm like, I understand you feel that way. I'm sorry, but I do have integrity, and I don't want to overcharge you, and I don't want to fight with you, so I'm gonna just take the higher road.
Yeah. Yeah, it's gotta be tough in those types of situations because, in customer service, and I worked in that lane for such a long time, that career choice. And gosh, yeah, I mean, there's some things that are just out of your control when it comes to moments like that. And you have to make the executive decision, like you said, well, this is going to take me 20 hours, whether this guy's going to be happy with me or not. We gotta split ways.
Yeah,
And
I knew there was no pleasing him.
yeah,
There's nothing I could do to please him. I
yeah,
mean, I was building his desks when I got there because nothing was done. I mean, it was really just kind of one of those things where um, I he under what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't he undersold the project,
okay,
and based on the information I had, because I saw what I was getting at, I didn't see what was going on at his home, right? I didn't know I had to put a desk together. I didn't know I had to put the monitors together. I didn't know that things didn't weren't delivered. I didn't know that he didn't have software licenses. I was just and my mistake is I assumed that he had the software licenses because he was using it.
yeah,
And one of the things in my contract for businesses is that you must have supported software, or we won't support it. You must be using Windows 11, okay, or we won't support. I won't support Windows 10. I've walked into places still running Windows Vista. I'm like, nope, not touching it, not even close. Um, it's funny as I had Cox come out to my house, okay, and the pedestal for the internet is way in the corner of my lot, right? I live on a third of an acre, and there was a cable, and we've been in our house about 4 years. There's a cable going from there to the house that's on top of the rocks, and I'm like, oh, I should bury this, but wait a minute. If I break it, I'm responsible. So I call Cox. They come out. They're like, yeah, that should be buried. I'm like, okay, you do it, because if you break it, you're fixing it. If I break it, I'm paying for you guys to fix it. Just like that. Same thing. I tell people, buy the warranty with your computer.
mm,
Okay. Buy the extended warranty. You may never need it, but do you have car insurance? Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. What happens if you're in a wreck? I was just in a terrible car wreck about 3 weeks ago, totaled my truck, or 4 weeks ago, totaled my truck. Okay. If I didn't have good insurance, I'd be stuck paying for it still. Okay. So they paid off my truck and and moving on. Okay. It was an accident. Thankfully, everybody was fine. God bless. But you know, that's why we have insurance. That's why I tell people, buy the extended warranty. Even on my own machines, I just bought a brand new Microsoft Surface. I brought the 4-year next business day warranty. It may never crap out, but if it does, this computer's $1,500. I mean,
yeah,
I don't. I only want to pay that once every 4 years.
right,
So, um,
exactly.
yeah, I tell people, make sure you have the support on your software. If you don't get it, make sure you have the support on your hardware. If you don't get it, because you never know what's going to happen. You never know if there's going to be a lightning strike and the power blows up in your computer and you lose everything. And
Right.
also back up your data, right? So,
Yeah, absolutely. No, that's great words of advice. And for the people listening right now, I mean, obviously you're catering to the seniors, which is fantastic. You've got this lane, you've got this niche. It's working well for you. As far as the micro businesses are concerned, what services are you offering them, and who, if they're listening to this, would be the ideal candidate to reach out to you for your services?
okay, let's start with the size of business. Okay, let's start with that. I don't care what genre you're in. Okay, I don't care what you do. I don't care if you're a realtor, mortgage broker, air conditioning company, construction worker. I don't care. It doesn't matter, because, but you have to be under 10 employees to work with me. Now, once you're over 10 employees, I have a partner I take people to, and we have an agreement. Okay, me and my partner have this agreement that when my client reaches 9 employees, we start the migration to them.
Mm,
Okay, because I know my lane, I know it really well. And because of the great partnership I have with this other company, because I actually do some work for them, I stay involved for as long as they want me to. I get paid by the other company to manage them, and I'm still in that relationship. They're just a bigger company that can support them. So if you're a micro business, one person, sole entrepreneur, home based business, it doesn't matter, small bakery, you could be a brick and mortar. Doesn't matter what you do. Okay. You got to be under 10 employees. Okay. Now, what I do for them is take care of everything for them. I do virtual CIO services. Okay. I do email
Virtual what?
security, virtual CIO. So I will act as their chief information officer. I
Ah,
will work
got
with
it.
their vendors. I will I will make sure they have things in the cloud. I will make sure they have email security. I'll make sure they have endpoint security. People take that for granted. All right, in their business, they're like, oh, my machine came with McAfee, or my machine came with Norton, or somebody told me to get Malwarebytes. Well, honestly, all that stuff's crap. Okay, you need a grown-up endpoint protection.
Yeah, why are they crap?
They The consumer products are crap. Let me rephrase that.
Okay.
Okay. Because that's what people are buying. They're going to Best Buy and they're saying what Best Buy does. I was an enterprise network engineer on the security side for years. Okay. Even in my business, and I stayed in touch with it. And so what I did when I decided on a endpoint security solution, I tested about 7 or 8 of them.
Mm.
Okay. Tested them on my own network, threw stuff out there I knew it was infected. Were they going to let it through? Were they going to block it? Were they going to clean it? And there were 3 that passed the test. Then I looked at price point. Then I looked at support. Then I looked at growth, what different packages they went to. So
Great. So you've broke it down based on
I broke it down
experience.
on based on my experience,
Mhm.
what worked best for consumers and small micro businesses.
Great.
Now I've looked at a couple other solutions that were really, really awesome, but the vendor did not make it simple for me to buy from them. They
Mm,
made it complicated. And if they're going to make it complicated for me, that means it's going to be complicated to put my client into it.
gotcha.
So I'm sticking with what I work with. And I actually use a product by a company called ESET, ESET. They're my endpoint product. And those your listeners, you can go buy it online. Okay, buy the business product, don't buy the consumer product, buy the business product. And or you can get through me and I can manage it for you and whatever. But that's what I use. I don't hold back. The businesses also get that 24/7 help desk. Okay. We'll take care of their Office 365 or their Google. We prefer Microsoft. We will actually back up their OneDrive to another cloud provider. Um, Provide email security. We'll take care and we'll give them time, right? I meet with every one of my business clients once a quarter to go through the tickets that they've gone through, where their business is going, what they need from technology, give them ideas. And if they ever need me, they just pick up the phone and call because I'm there to help drive them because they're not technologists. They're realtors. They own a air conditioning company. They do accounting. Okay, we all need to stay in our lane. And I've been telling people this for years and years and years and working with business. And I never wanted StuTech to be in working with businesses. It was just the smart thing to do because I believe that I serve the underserved, right? Whether it's seniors or micro businesses. Um, and I serve the underserved because they're not getting the support they need to grow their business. They're not getting their support they need to get to 10 employees or 12 employees. Like I have a really good friend of mine who should be a great guest for your show. Um, he runs a search for he has a search firm, a recruiting firm. He helps companies go from 50 million to 500 million.
Yeah.
That's his
Have him reach
that's
out.
Yeah, I'll put you in touch.
Yeah.
Nick's a great guy, and anyway, but it's all about helping people, right? And he's actually one of my clients. He's got 8 employees, 9 employees, something like that. Only a few of his are onshore, so he's got people offshore that do back end work for him, but I support them. So it's kind of a fine line because he's getting to that point where he's got X amount of employees, but he's not fully managed. We just do his security for him.
Nice.
He doesn't need full managed services. He has got a block of hours for VCIO services. And so when he needs me to talk to a vendor, comes off that time. And
Yeah.
plus he's been a friend of mine, so I kind of cut him a deal. But
So you don't take on every single service for every client. You basically break it down based on their needs, and you're really tailoring a plan for whatever business is talking with you.
yeah, businesses are a little different than my residential because I,
Sure.
I need to put all my residential and my seniors in a box because it works that way because I just see it. Businesses are different. Businesses need to be flexible. Now, if you just want security, I'll sell you just security. Don't call me for stuff. Okay. I'm going to maintain that. I'll tell you when things are infected. I'll bill you on top of that. My goal is to have businesses very much like my seniors, where everything's in a box. This is what you're buying. This is what you're paying for. You're getting the help desk. You're getting all these things. Because at the end of the day, I'm betting on myself that because we're maintaining everything and you have a help desk to call, that nothing gets escalated to me.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to keep my time focused on not only growing my business, providing amazing service to people, because that's the main thing, amazing service. And being able to do stuff like this, doing podcasts like this with you to educate people on the why we're out helping people, the why technology is important, the why you need to take a step back or take a breath. And I like to vacation, right? I don't want to be a slave to my business.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why I put these processes in place.
I love that. And I think the stew needs more stews. You just got to duplicate yourself. And I think you could really just change the whole landscape of the people that really need it. Like you said, the seniors out there that are in need of help. And I think it's just such an incredible business, and the opportunity for scalability is through the roof. But how are you going to train more stews?
Well, it's easy. Okay. The tech work is really simple. Okay. The tools do most of the work. Okay. So I already have a job description laid out for the next stew, right? The next person or people. The one thing I cannot teach, okay, none of us can teach this, is passion.
Mm,
We cannot teach passion. You either have it or you don't. You either give a shit or you don't.
mm.
Okay. Now, I have a few questions that I will ask people to find out if they give a shit or not. Okay. Like one of my questions I ask them is, when's the last time you called your mother? Okay. I hear that, having a New York Jewish mother. I mean, she's always like, "Why don't you call me, Stuart?"
Yeah.
And even my friends are like, "Dude, you should call your mom more often." So, that question. So, when's the last time you talked to your mom? When's the last time you talked to your grandmother? Things along those lines. Um,
That's great.
and I will ask people, "What's your relationship with your family?" You know, um, because that's a really big thing for me in this business. Okay. If you don't have a relationship with your family, how are you going to build a relationship with an 85-year-old lady or man in
Mm.
their home when you have to fix their computer and they're standing there looking over your shoulder and you're getting frustrated because it happens to me all the time. I was working on a lady's computer this morning. She literally was sitting there and she fell asleep on me. Not on me, but while I was working, trying to have a conversation with her.
Yeah.
So, you've got to understand this market. You've got to understand these people, and you've got to have compassion and passion. So,
A lot of patience. Yeah.
a lot of patience. My wife even says that I have the patience of a saint. I'm like, yeah, no, I just drink too much. Um,
Yeah,
so
some
it's
somehow.
um, anyway, it's so as I look for people, because I'm kind of starting to look at that for next year right now. Who do I want to hire? What do I want to pay them? Then I have to look at payroll services and all the other expenses that go along with it. And how can I keep my prices low and still pay somebody a living wage to work with me? Okay.
Yeah.
And that's the key thing. I want to make sure that I can afford the person or people to support the people that are trusting me at $25 a month, right? It takes a lot of $25 a months to be able to afford somebody at, 50, 60, 70, $80,000 a year. So
Does.
I'm really kind of being very, very careful. I'm a former COO, so I know all about the budgets and things like that. I have a great accountant that we're working with. So um, I'm just looking at all these things and do I want to hire somebody? And maybe it's more like maybe I put my seniors into my 24/7 help desk that I use for businesses because it's really simple.
Yeah.
And then hire customer success managers.
There you go. Yeah.
So I've got to look at how my model is going to change and grow. Or do I make StuTech a franchise and let it franchise and take a piece of the action from different areas of the country, in Florida, Palm Springs, Las Vegas, whatever.
Yeah.
And I look at that. So again, I'm not even a year in business yet. I am thinking about expansion. I am thinking about growth. I'm thinking about how I want to be this global, or let's call it national, service provider for seniors and micro businesses, because they are the underserved, they are the forgotten, and it's not fair to them. Because I'm a micro business, right? I'm one person. Okay, I have a lot of friends that are micro businesses, and they work with micro businesses. So together, I feel like together we're stronger. And so finding the right people, that's my big challenge for 2026.
Nice.
That's
Beautiful.
my big challenge. I got everything else dialed in. I got good marketing. I've got good exposure. I'm I'm a pretty nice guy. I'm pretty smart, and I know my business, and I stay in my lane. I don't take on things that are just over my head. I have people to do that, and I can subcontract that out and manage the project. But I know what I'm good at, and I
Mm.
stick to it instead of trying to be a jack of all trades. I'm a master of what I do.
I love that. And I also want to say, the fact that you did start this business only 10 months ago, but you have such a secure foundation of the things that you've been doing, and your foresight into where you're at now is incredible, because there's a lot of moving parts when it comes to a business like that. There's a lot of moving parts in any business in general. And for you to be able to pivot and maneuver the way that you have, you deserve one of these. Good job,
Thanks,
Stu.
man. I appreciate that, AJ. Here's the thing, all right, and I'm gonna open up all the secret, right? When I started this business, it was just to serve seniors, okay? Residential, which I never did before, okay? Never. I was in IT for businesses, business to business, never business to consumer. And a couple months into it, I realized how simple it was, right? You provide a service and you get paid. There's no, yeah, you warranty your work. The service doesn't work, you go back the next day and you fix it. And then you show people. The key thing is documentation, right? When I set up somebody's new computer, I come back and I write everything down, all their passwords, all this, and then I send it to them in a secure document. And I keep a copy of it because I know the 85-year-old person is going to forget that. What was my password to this again?
Yeah.
Here you go. And it's fine. Okay. But um, the the thing that I learned by January, February last year is take your time and breathe.
Mm.
Just breathe, because they're relying on you. Okay. And with all the so again, I'm a process guy, former COO. You know, I took a company to market, and within a year we were acquired. So I'm very good at building businesses, but I've also made a ton of mistakes in the past. So StuTech was going to be that company that I did not make mistakes with, not operationally. Okay. And I have not made any mistakes operationally. I've made mistakes on client acquisition. I've made mistakes on product acquisition. I've made mistakes on vendor acquisition, right? But I haven't made any mistakes operationally, which is key, which allows me to pivot. And it pivoted me from call us not to your kids to secured, supported, and simple. And that goes for everybody. My social marketing is very crystal clear. Okay. My marketing is for seniors and micro businesses. It talks to the both of them because they both are the similar uh, genre of type of company or type of client, because it's computers, it's not servers and firewalls and stuff like that. It's not big infrastructure. It's simple. It's
Right.
just support. It's allowing them the freedom to do what they need to do, whether it's to do their job or to have a Zoom call with their grandkid. Same thing, same concept.
Right. Right. Jeez. Yeah, I mean that makes so much sense. The business owners are so busy sometimes that stuff slips through the cracks. So the amount of attention that those those things that you offer would be the
Mhm.
same as somebody that doesn't know how to do it at all. So that
Yes.
totally makes sense. Those are great
Yeah.
parallels.
And Richie Rich even says, as soon as I learned from my previous mistakes, and I have, and I don't want to make those same mistakes. And I was a business coach for 8 years, so I learned from that too,
Yeah.
from advising people of what not to do.
Mm.
Okay. And one of the things that I will share this for any business owner out there, small, especially small business owners, there's a thing that I coined the phrase called boa constrictor syndrome. Okay. It's when you are holding on so tight to your business, you choke the life out of it.
Ooh, that's good.
Okay. I was doing that to my own life, right? I thought I had everything under control. And I see business owners doing that. So you got to breathe, you got to let go. And that's what I've done with StuTech. I breathe, I let go. Okay, shit's still going to be there tomorrow. Let me deal with it. Let me just take a step back.
Uh,
So the mistakes I made in the past, again, I think it comes from age and maturity and things like that. And, you know, being accountable, right? Which is the key thing. But those mistakes that I've made when I was in my 20s and 30s, I'm not making in my 50s. And if anybody can learn one thing from me by listening to this, the one takeaway I want to tell everybody, not about my business or anything like that, but business in general, if you're an entrepreneur, breathe and trust your instincts and trust the staff that you have hired. If you don't trust the staff that you've hired the wrong staff.
mm. Well said, Stu. Geez, I hope everybody's taking a little piece of that with them because it is very well said. And you can tell that it comes from a place of wisdom. And wisdom is only here and shown to the world with experience. So thank you for taking the knocks for us and
Oh, yeah.
being able
These
to.
gray hairs did not come easy, by the way.
Yeah, I got my salt coming in too, and I'm proud, you know.
Oh, I wear these wounds, these band-aids of gray hair with pride.
Absolutely. Yeah, I always say I earned these scars. These are mine. You know, this this came from something. And I want to say, Rich, thank you so much for being here. Legend. Show him some love. Um, Richie Rich, he says, I like the new name. I like the new name. He says, like 38 Specials song, hold on loosely, but don't let go. Very
Yeah,
nice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Funny thing
It's,
about that song, when I was little, when it came out when I was little, I thought it was "Hold On, Lucy."
oh,
Yeah, so I love that song, by the way. Thanks, Rich.
nice. Nice. Richie Rich also says, I try to learn something from every guest AJ has. Yeah. And, you know, inspiring people like Stu coming on makes it that much easier. So, Stu, we appreciate you being here. But before we get into the tail end of this interview here, I want to talk about cybersecurity and scams and things like that, because I feel as though even though I grew up in the technological generation, I have fallen victim to scams before. Something as simple as a text message stating that there's some toll that I haven't paid, and then the website is spot on to the real website. You know, all of these things happen to everybody, and I'm sure at one point or another, everybody will fall into that trap. But you did a presentation recently for the seniors on that, and if you could unpack that for me, let's talk about it.
Sure. We actually did a seminar today here in my community. I live in Fountain of the Sun in Mesa, so we had. I didn't know how well it was going to be received, but we had about 40 people show up. It was really quite nice, and we're going to do it again in December. And we're going to open it up a little bit bigger. I think we're going to have it in our activity center. We're going to open it up to about 300 people. So I had a guest speaker because I'm tired of preaching. Okay, because I've been preaching to my community for a year now about scams that are out there in cybersecurity. And there's a resident in my community that got taken a couple months ago for $26,000. Okay. Um, and then another one recently that I got called out for in Tucson for about 4,000. And then another person that I just heard about last week in my community for about $1,500. So nobody's safe. Okay. And here's the thing about cybersecurity. Okay. If you're over 60, you are 3 times as likely to be scammed or compromised than any other age group. Okay. They earlier this year, the FBI estimated that would be about $5 billion, okay, in reported cybersecurity scams to the 60 and older. Okay. It is past that already. Okay. It has doubled over the last 3 years. Okay. They said it'd be 5 billion. I think we're at like 5.3, 5.4 billion so far, and we're just in August. And that's the reported scams, the reported compromises. And um, only about 20 or 25% of the scams get reported. So let's just do the math there, right? Let's just call it 5 billion and it's 25%. So multiply that by 4. So that's about $20 billion in lost money in 10 months for people 60 and over in this country.
Mm.
Now, because it is doubling or tripling every year, let's just say next year we're going to see about $60 billion, and we'll probably see about 10 to 15 billion dollars, and that's billion with a B, okay, that's reported. And every year it's going up and going up and going up. And guess what? The 50 somethings will be in their 60 somethings. Okay. So the market is going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bad guys, the bad actors, are getting smarter and smarter and smarter. And they're using AI and they're using social media. They're using stuff that if you're in your 30s or 40s now, you think you know everything, but they're ahead of you. They're ahead of me. They're ahead of my tools. Okay. They just haven't gotten to my people because it's harder and harder and harder to get in. So I tell seniors, okay, and sometimes they're not going to listen. Actually, a lot of times they're not going to listen. But here's the thing, okay, and I'll tell this, and everybody should be taking these kind of precautions, okay. Change your passwords often, okay. Multi-factor authentication, huge, okay. Those two things, okay, are huge. Now, we talked about the toll road text today, right? Actually, you don't know, but yes, we talked about it in the seminar today. Okay, Arizona does not have toll roads. Okay, the bad guys are not doing their research; they're just sending stuff out. And
Yeah.
if you're clicking on that link, I can guarantee you they are downloading a file onto your phone, onto your computer, onto something. You never know when it's going to be when that virus is going to be activated. Okay, it's kind of a sleeper virus. It's true. The stuff you see on TV is kind of true. So I tell people the simple rule is if you're not, it's 2 rules. Number one, if you're not expecting it, it's not real. Okay, if you're not expecting the call, if you're not expecting the email, if you're not expecting the text, just delete it. And number two, if it sounds too good to be true, it is.
Yeah. That's great
And to add on to
advice.
that, and here's the God's honest truth. You will be compromised. I don't know when, I don't know how, but you will be compromised at some point. And you will or may lose money, but you will be compromised. And it's up to you to follow a few simple rules and a few simple put some guards in place to keep your stuff safe, but you will be compromised. There's no doubt about it. It's not if anymore, it's when.
Yeah. Gosh, that's the unfortunate truth, isn't it? It is
Mhm.
really crazy to think. And you brought up that toll road situation. I own a car rental agency, and so I have cars whizzing around all over the place. So I didn't even really bat an eye at that one, right there. It was incredible because the website that it takes you to, it is the exact same website as the real website. So it was this veil of a website, and it was so interesting because it just said it wouldn't accept your payment. And I
Right.
knew right when I hit that, it was like a payment unable to process, try another card. And I'm like, oh no, what have I done?
Yeah.
So yeah, I had to shut down that card immediately. And that's really good advice from you too, to just be proactive, change your passwords. I'm guilty of not doing that, right? And I can say that openly. And I don't think that I've ever thought about how much how much precautions are needed to be taken in those areas of life. And you're so right. So I appreciate you sharing that with our audience, and for having these seminars and get-togethers, these presentations to educate the people that may not know.
And I always bring cake.
Oh,
I
see,
always bring cake.
we'll be at the next one.
We'll be at the next one.
I
So
love
here's the one I want to just touch on that toll road text that was going around earlier this year. So the funny thing is, I have a toll road pass for California, right, for Orange County in California. My sister lives in Los Angeles, so we go out there. We go to Newport, a couple times a year. So I have the toll road pass for that. I got that text as well. I'm like, huh. I know I have money on the thing. Hang on, let me go look. So instead of clicking the toll road thing, I actually went to the toll road's website, okay, and checked my account.
Yeah.
So another piece of advice for your listeners: if you get one of those strange texts, call the vendor or check it out on the real website. Don't click the text. Don't click the link in the email. Go and check it out. Pick up the phone and call. The days of picking up the phone are almost gone because everybody likes to text. I can't stand texting. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I get clients texting me all the time. I'm actually moving my phone system for my office, and I'm going to shut off SMS texting. You're gonna be forced to pick up the phone and call my office, or you have to send an email.
I love
Tired
that.
of the scams, because I get scam text on my office line. I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Yeah. Yeah. I am old school and I'm cut from the same cloth there. That's just, I was raised making phone calls, and text messages are just not my thing. Not even voice messages. Like, just give me a call. Let's just
I
chat
know,
about
right?
it. I'm with you there.
And if you don't pick up the phone, leave a voicemail. And
Yeah.
that's the other thing, ladies and gentlemen that are listening to this. Okay, if you get that scam call and you don't recognize the number on your cell phone, your home phone, whatever, let it go to voicemail. Okay, somebody who's legitimate will leave a voicemail. If they're not legitimate, then you can delete it. It's no big deal.
Great advice. Ladies and gentlemen, Stu Tech. Love it. So before we let you go, Stu, I'd like to know, for one, where can everybody find you?
Okay, so I'm all over social media, right? StuTechAZ, at StuTechAZ on Facebook, at StuTechAZ on YouTube, at StuTechAZ on Instagram. It's everywhere. My website is stutechaz.com. It's pretty simple.
Perfect.
You can email me directly. I'd love to hear from all your listeners. Stu, S-T-U, at stutechaz.com. And my office phone number, please don't text it. It'll just drive me crazy, is 480-420-0580. Very simple. StuTechAZ, not StuTech.com. StuTech.com is a company in Germany, I think. So if you want to fix that, up there. Stu at StuTechAZ. Yeah. So that's the downfall to having StuTechAZ only. If I want to expand, so I may buy the domain stutech.us, and that'd be my franchise. So
Nice.
stay tuned for that. You can keep watching that.
Yeah.
See if I come up with stutech.us.
Nice. We'd love to see it. And just know that our network of individuals are here for you. So if you ever need anything, reach out. If you ever have any big announcements or big leaps forward in the company, or you're considering trying something and you want to come and discuss it, reach out. We are here for you. This is what people helping people is all about. So my network is your network now. So if there's anything I can do to help you out, again, arms wide open.
I appreciate it. I will actually be in Tucson for a few days in December, going to a holiday party down there. So we're going to spend a couple extra days. We can go shake some hands, kiss some babies, meet with some people. Hopefully you and I can get together, AJ, and just kind of chill and have some laughs.
Yeah, give me a shout, man. Give me a shout. Absolutely. And I also wanted to thank you. You made a donation to the Diabetes Network of Arizona.
I did.
And that is incredible. Thank you so much.
They were the sponsor of my show today. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna throw a couple bucks their way. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but a little something, something always helps, you
So
know?
nice. So nice. And they do such incredible work. You know, as we were talking off air, they supply people that don't have their diabetic supplies with free diabetic supplies. And they have a bunch of hubs in Phoenix that allow people to just go to these homes and get the things that they need to stay alive and not keep them out of the hospital. So they also have a camp for type 1 diabetic. I mean, I'm just such a huge fan of theirs and just so proud that they believe in us, and I'm proud to be representing them. So, but before we let you go, Stu, I first off want to say this was an incredible interview. I appreciate all the information, and I really, I hope I get to see you on here again. But before we let you go, is there anything you'd like to leave with the audience?
From a technology perspective, it's not difficult. Okay. It's not rocket science. Okay. Um, take your time when reading emails. Just be careful out there. Stay safe. Um, and that not only goes for technology, but just in life in general. Just stay safe. The world's a crazy, crazy place right now. People are a little nutty. We're all kind of divided. Um, just love one another, take care of one another, and help each other. I think that's, if we can all start to live kind of like by that mantra, I think the world will slowly become back to what I like to call normal.
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, Stu of Stu Tech.
Thank you.
Great interview. And Richie Rich, before we let you go here, he says, thank you all, or thank you for all the advice, Stu. You have a great night and week with continued success in all that you do.
Thank you, Rich.
Absolutely. Thank you, Rich. All right, Stu, we appreciate you being here and showing up for this incredible episode of People Helping People, and we look forward to talking to you again soon, all right?
Thanks, AJ. Now it's dinner time.
It's dinner time. Bring on the
Dinner
cake.
time.
Let's do it. We'll see you, Stu.
See you later. Thanks, everyone.
Yeehaw. Sorry, I cut him off a little early there. My finger got a little trigger happy. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed the show. What an incredible individual, right? And that's what's so great about what we're doing here is just having these conversations with people doing all different types of things in all different lanes. And I took a lot from that, being the person that needs to change their passwords more frequently, being the person that doesn't need to use the same thing for multiple things. And I think I can pass down some of this information on to my family. And when my companies get to a certain point where we start needing some more security, you best believe Stu's on the radar. Rich says, AJ, I hope you're feeling better and got things under control. And I was going to touch on that, Rich. Thank you for checking in, brother. I appreciate you. If you guys saw Monday's podcast, it's Wednesday, correct? Yes. If you guys saw Monday's podcast, I was on the fence about going to the hospital because of my Crohn's just being out of control, which was affecting my diabetes. Well, I've eaten nothing but over easy eggs for the past 3 days now. I just completely took out everything else and eaten over easy eggs to give my stomach a break and hopefully let my Crohn's subside. And it's helped a lot. It's helped a lot. I didn't have to drive myself to the hospital, so that's great news. But I will say that you guys, as my community, as my audience, are going to see me lose weight over the next probably week and a half, while all I'm eating is eggs. So just be prepared. I'm already down maybe 10 pounds, actually over 10 pounds. But yeah, I got to do what I got to do to heal my stomach so I can start putting on weight again. So thank you, Rich, for checking in. And thank you all for joining us in this incredible episode of People Helping People. Thank you again to Stu from StuTechAZ.com. What a great show, you guys. And I look forward to seeing you guys Friday. We have an incredible guest coming on Friday. And I'm really looking forward to the show. But if you guys want to get involved like Stu did to make a donation to the Diabetes Network of Arizona, all the information is below. Everything is down there. So all the links to T-Town Boxing, the phone number for Mike Solkowski, or the donation links for the Diabetes Network of Arizona are down there. And we are still trying to figure out ways to raise as much money as we can to give a family a car for Christmas. So we're coming up with ideas on what the best type of event to raise the most to buy this vehicle for a family in need. And then we take you guys along for the journey when we do so. But that's all in the works. And this is People Helping People. And we love you guys. Thank you for joining us. And we'll catch y'all on the next one. Deuces.
Yeah. What's everybody fighting for? Why can't people help people? That's the question.